coming. This is Susan Bradley. Susan, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Susan Bradley,
Give her a warm welcome.
and I am the committee woman for Senate District 16 with State Party. I don't know if any of you have ever attended your local executive committee meetings. This is pretty much the same thing except on state level. My job right now is to help people get prepared for the Senate district conventions and the state conventions. And if they're interested in going to the national convention, I have a little bit of information on that as well. So, first thing, Dallas County holds Senate district conventions. Collin County holds a county convention, and they break off into Senate caucuses. Dallas County does it because our population is so big, it's too big to put everybody in one place. The Houston area also does Senate district conventions, a couple other locations. But first thing you need to do is determine which Senate district you live in. So you're going to know who you need to be in contact with. And if you have your voter registration card, on the right side at the top, it says State Senate. There'll be a number there. On my card, the number is 16 because I live in Senate District 16. So, David, if you could, I brought a list of all the all the state Democratic Executive Committee members from the area. So once you know which Senate district you live in, you'll now have contact information if you don't live in 16 for the person that will be in charge of your area. Now, there are 31 Senate districts in the state of Texas. Each one has a committee man and a committee woman. We do a gender balance thing. So, through every process, the one main goal is always to have gender balance. Okay, so step 1, you need to vote. And he's already told you early voting starts February 18th. I highly recommend voting early if you possibly can. Maybe big long lines on election day. So, step 2 is sign up for your Senate District Convention. The first handout you receive should have a website on it for you to do that. It's 2020.texas, spelled out, democrats.org. You go there, all you have to do is give them your name and your address, and it will know where you live. Another way, if yes. And if you have any problems with it, you might try it on a different device. Some devices apparently don't work as well as others. Yes. The Senate district conventions or county conventions will all be held on the third Saturday after the primary. That's March 21st at various locations throughout the area, throughout the state. Which reminds me, let me put in a caveat before I go too much further that everything I am telling you applies in the state of Texas and will not necessarily translate to any other state. So don't share the information in Nebraska or because it may not work for them.
March 21st was the deadline for what?
March 21st is not the deadline. It is the day of the Senate District Convention.
Oh.
Now, our Senate District Convention is going to, the doors are going to open at 8 a.m., 8:30 a.m., and we're going to gavel in to session at 10 p.m., 10 a.m. Yeah, it's not 2008 this time. Anyway, it'll be a lot of fun. It is your chance to have a voice and participate on a grassroots level. And there are a lot of things to be done at the convention. One of them is if you have a bright idea that you think the party should be paying attention to. No, I'm talking about issues. Fortunately, we have several really good candidates. I am not scared. Whoever wins, I think we're going to be in good hands. And I'm not here to promote any presidential candidate. That's not my job. I haven't made up my mind yet. So, resolutions and platform. Now, resolutions are a group of things that the Texas Democratic Party is going to promote and try to get our candidates to promote. The platform is our actual written state platform. If you haven't read our platform, you should go to the Texas Democratic Party website and read it. If you want to have nightmares, you can also go to the Texas Republican Party platform website and read their platform. Way back in the 90s, it's what reading both platforms is what changed me into a full-fledged Democrat, hardcore. So, anyway, I have handed out, or did we hand that out? The how to write a resolution. It's a little primer. There will be a resolutions and platform committee at each Senate district or county convention. And a well-written resolution is key if you want people to hear your ideas. And one of those keys is to be very concise. You know, some people like to hear the sound of their own voice. Some people like to type the same way. Try to keep your ideas concise. If you cite any statistics or anything, be sure to source them so people know where that information came from and can double check it if they want to. And this is just a basic template of how it's done. You're basically going to say, okay, here is my issue I'm going to address. That's your title. And here is the problem, and here is the problem, and here's what we'd like to do to fix it. Kind of boom, boom, boom. Be simple, be direct. And I know one reason I'm emphasizing this is because I'm going to be serving on the temporary resolutions committee at the state level. So I'm going to be seeing all of these, if the ones that pass, because they have to be passed by the Senate District Convention in order to make it to the state level. Then at the state level, they'll go through a temporary resolutions and a temporary platform committee, and they'll be passed on, be voted. The ones that pass will be raised up, and there will be a permanent resolutions and a permanent platform committee at the state convention comprised of delegates to the state convention. All right, how many of you want to go to the state convention? Good, good. It's going to be in San Antonio this year, June 4th, 5th, and 6th. 3 days. I have to be there on the 4th. If you get there early in the morning on the 5th, you'll be good if you want to save a hotel room. I'll be working. You'll be having fun. Again, there will be committees. If you want to serve on those committees, though, at that point, you have to run. The committees are resolutions, platform, give me the list, David. Rules, rules, credentials, and nominations. 2 nominations committees. Each one is one is going to be helping fill out our delegations. If you want to go to the national convention, you will also have to run for that. We will be electing people out of our Senate districts. Each Senate district has a certain number of delegates that they can elect to the national convention based on their turnout in the 2018 election and in the gubernatorial election in 2016. Senate District 16 has 6 delegates that are going to go to the national convention. Now, the tricky part is, how many of you know what threshold is? It's been on the news a lot lately. All right, in order to get a delegate, you have to get 15% of the attendees at the state convention to caucus for you when we get together and start signing in. Threshold is 15%. If you don't make 15%, you don't get a delegate. Therefore, take all your friends and family with you and sign in for your candidate. Yes, ma'am. It varies from year to year.
Oh, could you repeat the question, by the way?
She asked, what is the average attendance for, you're talking the state convention, right? Well, different. Senate District 16 has 466 delegate spots plus 5 automatic delegates, one of which is me, and my counterpart, David Griggs. That's 2. And we also have a member of the Asian American Democratic Caucus who is on the SDEC, and the president of Stonewall, who's on the SDEC, and our county chair, Carol Donovan, also happens to live in the 16th. So those 5 people plus the 466, if everybody shows up. So this is a commitment. Yeah, that's what I just said, dear. It's a commitment, and if you say you're going to go, now you can attend your Senate district convention and not go to state, but if you want to go to the state convention, everybody that attends their Senate district convention will probably get a spot. There are 12,000 seats at the state convention, 12,000 slots. But each Senate district only gets a certain proportion. So if you don't show up, there are no alternates. If you don't show up, that's just one less person to vote.
Not really. So I think one question is, when you're talking about the 15% threshold, we're talking about the state convention, not the individual district convention. Is that correct?
No.
Well,
Okay.
Well,
yeah, I mean, because the Senate district delegates are based on the primary vote.
well, that's true. Yes, the state.
Because like you're in 16, right? And then whoever wants to go from 16, you guys will choose, and then they'll send those people to the state, and then or whomever will go to the state and have to reach 15% there. Is that correct? Or
To get at large.
That's, yes. Because we also, at the state, we have at-large delegates. And there are going to be, 49 this year? Anyway, we try to balance our delegation, taking the people who are elected to go to the national convention out of their Senate districts, and then these extra slots that we have. One is gender balance, of course, male and female, and then we have what we call goals. I mean, it's a delegate selection plan, and we try to make our delegation match the diversity of our population.
By the way, you can show them
This is our delegate selection plan. I helped work on this. Basically, the DNC gives us a framework to work within. We sit down and we hammer out our delegate selection plans and our apportionments and everything, and then we have to send it back to the DNC and they have to approve it. And we've already done all this work. It's been approved. If anyone wants to look at it, it is online, but it's a lot to take in, it's 55 pages, which is why I didn't bring handouts of it.
If they wanted to find it online, where would they find it?
At the Texas State Democratic Party website. Yes. And now the candidates will also be involved in the process of filling out the rest of our delegation. And sometimes that can get a little tricky, which is why I never volunteer for nominations. But mainly we will have a lot of fun all the way up the line, and there'll be plenty of things for you to do and see and participate in. There's going to be a credentials committee. Their job is going to make sure that everybody who shows up is actually eligible to participate, meaning that they voted in the Democratic primary or signed an oath of affiliation with the Democratic Party and did not vote in anybody else's primary. If you vote in the Republican primary, you can't participate in any of our conventions. So, but other than that, if you're a good Democrat, you can come. Yes, ma'am. Yes, go ahead and register. And I believe there's even a little box on there that says that you can choose that says, I won't be able to attend, but I'd still like to be considered for a delegate spot. And unless all the delegate spots fill up that day, you'll be fine. Now, I have only seen that happen once, and that was in 2008. So it's probably going to be, everyone that wants to go will get to go. Unless something like 2008 happens again, but I don't see that happening. I mean, we had fair warning in 2008. All right, where was I? One thing, if you're plan to participate, show me the thing from Barnes & Noble. I highly recommend that you at least, this is a brief primer of Robert's Rules of Order, because all state business is run, all the committees, everything is run by Robert's Rules of Order. This is kind of the cheat sheet version. You can order it from Barnes & Noble, and it'll teach you all the basics you need to know so that you don't do something that's totally out of order and then they'll just say, you're out of order, sit down. Okay. Robert's Rules.
Can they see the front where it says Robert's Rules? There you go. Very cool. And they can get that at Barnes & Noble?
Yes, you can order it from Barnes & Noble. I tried to get more copies so I could at least hand out a few today, and this is the only one in the entire Metroplex I could find.
Yay. And you can also, it's a pretty it's a well-rehearsed topic, so like if people search on YouTube, right, or online, there's a lot of instructions for Robert's Rules.
Yes. So I have the abridged book and I have the big full-size book because I sometimes serve as a parliamentarian. But you don't need all of that for the basics. You just need to know enough to get you by for a convention. And when you might have an objection to something somebody else is trying to do. So, okay. In addition, let's see, platform. There will be a permanent platform committee at the state convention. If you want to serve on that, you have to run for it, and you have to be elected out of your Senate district. Only one person will be chosen for each of these committees out of each Senate district. So, who's been paying attention? How many people are going to be on these committees then?
On the committees?
One person from each Senate district. 31. Plus the chair. Yeah, plus the chair and 2 at-large people, but basically 31 Senate districts. Okay, credentials, platform, rules, party rules. You can also find the party rules on the Texas Democratic State Party website. These are our rules that we put together to basically organize ourselves and give our have structure to how we do things. You might want to at least briefly review them before you go, so that you also will understand the process a little bit better, because it's all spelled out here. Again, a lot of pages, but it's very useful. Yes. I serve on the Rules Committee, so I helped with some of these. Some of them are, they've been there for a long time. Some of them are new. Every 2 years, we do new rules. And that is one of the things we'll be doing at the state convention. There'll be a rules committee at the Senate district convention. Those committees are usually about 15 people, and if you want to serve on it, all you have to do is raise your hand, basically. But get in touch with your people that are putting on this your particular convention and tell them you'd like to serve. See, did I hit all the committees now?
Well, there's the 2 nominations committees at the state.
Yeah.
2 nominations committees at the Senate.
What? Oh, yes. We'll have a nominations committee at the Senate district level as well to fill any slots. This is where a lot of those people will be the ones that say, I can't be there, but I'd like to. We'll be trying to balance it, but like I said, basically everybody that wants to go will probably get a chance to go. Okay? Probably can. Everybody who wants to go to the state convention, more or less, is going to be able to go to the state convention. So, okay. As you can tell, I'm not real used to having to do this. Questions? Any questions? $15. Yeah. Okay. In order for your candidate to get any delegates to the national convention, they have to hit the 15% threshold.
At the state. Senate, right? No, for the presidential candidate.
For the presidential.
Well, it depends which delegates you're talking about. Because district level delegates are based on the primary vote, and everything else is based on state vote.
Yes. For Senate district, it's based on the primary vote, which is happening March 3rd. Still 15% threshold. So drag everyone to the polls.
Each individual Senate district.
Each individual Senate district has to hit the 15% threshold.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that's
For those delegates, like she said that Senate
Decided
District
delegates.
16 elects 6. We'll know a day or two after the primary how those 6 are going to be allocated. This is going to be based on the primary.
Yes, ma'am. Well, March 3rd is election day. March 21st is the Senate district convention. No, it's not number of bodies. It's not anything like Iowa. We used to have what they called a hybrid process, which we lovingly call the 2-step, where we did both primary and caucus on election day. We don't do that anymore. It's a straight primary.
Yeah, the primary, you go and vote. It's based on how many votes in that district for your candidate on March 3rd.
Right.
If it meets 15% or whatever.
Right.
Exactly.
Got it.
You got it.
Because I've got Senate in my mind, and I've got, so I was confused during the process of where we were at. So that's where.
Well, yeah, I kind of moved on to state real quickly.
It's all new to me. It's all confusing to me. I'm trying to just pick up what I can as we go.
Okay, the sun has moved, so it's making it a little harder.
If you, even if you don't get that 15% threshold, you can still put on the platform committee, for example, UBI. You could say we could still do that even if we don't have. Right.
Yeah.
So that's why going to the state convention is always a good idea.
Yes, whether your candidate makes it or not, you should still go to the state convention and still participate, because this is your chance to have a voice. And, talk with leaders, talk with candidates. There's going to be a parade of candidates, both at your Senate District Convention or County Convention, as may apply, and at the state convention.
So R.L. Turner, that event that day, will have the candidates there, the Senate.
Yes.
Candidates for Senate. Da, 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 da.
Well, maybe not all of them, but a lot.
You yanked her.
I know it's not an indoor. She's here on nonpartisan, but she's wearing,
It's the sun. It's for the sun.
Yes. Yes. I also serve as an election judge, and when 7 o'clock hits, I am totally nonpartisan. I kind of feel the same way here. So, yes,
Okay, not necessarily. They won't
I was.
necessarily be there. You don't know.
The Senate the U.S. Senate candidates, I don't know if any of them will show up, because they have an entire state to cover, and they're going to show up wherever they think they can be most effective that day.
But by then, we're only going to have 2 of them.
Yes, there will only be.
21st,
Yes, because the primary will have happened, and we totally anticipate a runoff.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a lot.
So there will be 2, and they're going to be going wherever they think they can be most effective that day and most votes, which is smart. You can't blame them for that. So we do have a pretty big Senate district, and we usually have pretty good turnout at our Senate district conventions, but I think they may want to be in Houston that day. But all of our local candidates will be there, and several of our statewide candidates will probably drop by, depending on what they're running for. There are a lot of them are out of this area, so they're likely to come hit, like Railroad Commissioner. We'll probably see 1 or 2 of them. Some of the Supreme Court justices candidates. We'll probably see some of them. Anyway, this will be your chance to get to meet them, to know them. I spend a lot of time getting to know these people. And most of them I like a lot. Most. Now, I know everybody's hyped up about the presidential race, but the person who has the most effect on your everyday life is the one to vote their whole ballot. And yes, if your candidate doesn't make the 15% threshold, that's not a reason to drop out and not participate, because your life is going to be affected by all these other races as well, and they're all important. Any other questions?
Signed up online at the Texas Democrat to be a delegate. What is that? Because I haven't heard anything back from or an email other than saying thank you for
Registering.
to donate. So what do I need to do now, or do I just wait until someone contacts me? What does that mean?
Well, you can wait until somebody contacts you. I can tell you that they have not given us a list of people who have signed up yet, and probably won't until after the primary election because they're still waiting. But that information will be available before the Senate district or county conventions. And it's probably going to be accessible online, and everybody who signed up will get access to it so that you can start getting to know your fellow delegates, especially if you're going to want to run for a position at state, or if they're going to want to run for a position at state. You know, you're going to want to get to know them, they're going to want to get to know you. And so everybody will get some contact information and instructions. After the primary, I think they said Monday, the Monday after March 3rd, everybody will get a pack. Huh?
The Monday after the Senate District Convention.
Oh, the Monday after the Senate District Convention, yes. Everyone who is a state delegate will receive a packet on how to become a national delegate because there's paperwork involved and it has to be notarized. And the campaigns get to review it and approve people, not just us. So, but everybody will be getting information. Oh joy!
Well, basically, my question is, if you are a concerned, sorry, technical stop. Okay. So my question is, let's say you're me or any of these people in the Yang Gang,
Mm-hmm.
and we wanted to propose, let's say, basic income as a resolution to the Texas Democratic Party. So I'm currently not a delegate, but I do plan on voting in the primaries. If What does that journey look like from start to finish? Of today, I decide I want to try to make basic income an issue or whatever it is that we care about. We'll just use basic income as example. From today until the convention, what does my journey look like?
All right. Step one is come up with a really good title for it so that it's very clear that that's the issue you want to discuss, which you pretty much made, but you want it to be like, one line. Then you want to use the template that I gave you, or supposedly there's one at the state party website. I couldn't find it, and the person that was supposed to send me a link to it hasn't done that yet. But, and lay out your arguments. Whereas technology is a wonderful thing, however, it is replacing workers across the country and will continue to do so. And wherefore, people need money to spend. I'm just kind of pulling stuff out here. In order for our economy to continue to thrive, we propose it be resolved that everyone in the United States over the age of 18 receive a basic income, monthly income of X dollars. That's kind of okay. So now here's the secret sauce. If a resolution is passed in at least 15 different Senate districts, it automatically goes directly to the Permanent Resolutions Committee. It won't even come through me on the Temporary Resolutions Committee. So Your next job is to go to the Texas Democratic Texas Democratic Party website. There is a list of all of the Senate, all the committee members. What you do and their email addresses. You then, once you think your resolution is ready, and I'd have somebody proofread it a few times. Once it's ready to go, you then email it to each of those committee members and ask them to submit it to their resolutions committee at their convention, at their Senate district convention. I wouldn't get too detailed as far as that, because remember, this is a wish list and details have to be worked out at the government level. Okay? So you're given a basic outline. If you try to get too detailed, people will stop reading it halfway through.
Can you attach like a fact sheet or just that has really quick infographics or something?
Yes, you should cite your sources. I wouldn't get too detailed on it, but you could do it as a second page if you want.
As someone who used to serve on the SDC and served on the Temporary Resolutions Committee, keep it to one page, because anything more than one page, there's a lot greater chance that it's never going anywhere.
And if you serve on a committee and you get a resolution and you don't quite like to be one of those 15 that gets passed. Yes, ma'am.
What happens on your temporary committee if you get like 100 resolutions that all say the same thing?
We combine them. We go through and we pick. We go through and we pick the best one.
No, if it's the exact same resolution.
Oh.
Everybody wants UBI. You get 100 of them across your plate, so they don't count as 100. A lot of people really want this. You just stack it up and it's one.
At the Senate District Convention, it will be one.
It
But
doesn't matter if a bunch of people did it.
if 100 people submitted it at the Senate District level, no. What matters is, because we're only going to pass one if they're identical, and it's how many Senate districts pass or Senate district or county passes the same resolution.
So our energy is to do one in our district and then get every other district we can possibly get on the same train.
Right. That's where you put your energy, getting other Senate districts to also pass the exact same resolution. Yes, ma'am. She asked if there was a place that you could read past resolutions. Successful.
convention starts on the 21st.
But don't.
I will tell you, if you do that, you might as well throw it in the trash, because we'll get a huge volume of these resolutions. But anyway, but we are organized on the 16th. You have an opportunity to submit those ahead of time. The resolutions and platform committee will consider those, because they have a limited amount of time on convention day. You know, the actual convention itself is probably not going to last more than about 6 hours. So a lot of that legwork can be done ahead of time. Like I say, you can submit them anytime, but you will hear, if you live in Senate District 16, you will hear from them a lot as soon as they know that you're a delegate to the convention. Cannot speak for any other Senate district in Dallas County or anywhere else, but we're pretty damn organized in the 16th.
Yes, the first handout you got was one of the emails that I sent my people that are currently on my email list. Good Democrats, if you're in 16, if you get an email from me, open it up and read it, because I'm not asking you for money. I'm telling you something important you need to know.
And if you register to be a delegate to the Senate District Convention, you're going to hear from her and David periodically for
Several weeks.
From now on.
Yes.
All right, so we're getting close to the end of our time. So thank you so much for coming down. We still have a few time for maybe one or two more questions, but before we get into final questions, I want to make sure we get what are the important dates and deadlines that we need to pay attention to.
Early voting starts February 18th. Election day is March 3rd. Senate district conventions are March 21st. That's a Saturday. And if you live in Tarrant or Collin, it'll be a county convention, and you'll need to get the information on those from them, but that's why I handed out the list of the SDEC people in the area. If you plan to go, please contact your SDEC person.
And people can show up the day of the convention and register, but for God's sake, don't do that, because that makes our job much harder.
Can you repeat what he said? Sorry.
Okay, people can show up and register the day of the convention, but for God's sake, don't do that.
Right. So that technically means that there's not a deadline before March 21st to register as a delegate.
No, but the sooner you do it, the better, because that way we know who you are, we know how many people to plan for, and we can contact you with information you might need to know. Yes, sir.
I think I know the answer, but can we share this with others?
Absolutely. I have a whole lot of people on my email list that don't even live in Senate District 16 because they know I share information. So.
Now, make sure if you share it with somebody outside Senate District 16, it may not work that way in their district or county, but yeah.
Yes, some of the information is very specific just to like place and time. That is Senate District 16 specific. The committees go all over, are the same. Yes, and they can go to the state party website. First, they figure out what Senate district they live in by checking their voting record. In Dallas County, you can go to dallascountyvotes.org and look yourself up, and they'll tell you which Senate district you live in. And
Can you repeat that website real quick?
Dallas County Votes with an S on the end .org, and you can look yourself up.
And that'll tell you to see what's all the information that you get there.
It's your voting record. It is your voter registration record. It will tell Senate district you live in, what congressional district you're in, all of the information, just like on this. Also, it's a good way to make sure that your all your records, voting records, are in order before Election Day. Okay. Next. I have cards. If you want to get on my email list, all you have to do is email me, and I will add you.
What's your What's can I get one card? I want to see what email you're using.
Not the one you have. Because I gave it to you because it's the one I check at work.
Oh, okay.
Okay, any other questions?
So I just have a simple question.
Sure.
How do we find out where our polling place is?
That's going to be easy. At DallasCountyVotes.org, there will be a list of voting locations. We are now in Dallas County. This only applies.
Collin County has the same thing. They had it before we did.
I do not know.
Collin County Elections Department, I don't know. Google
Is
it.
DallasCountyVote.com or .org? .org.
Yes.
Do you happen to know the Collin County one?
I do not know the Collin
Google
County.
Collin County Elections.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if they have an election.
Yeah. If
they
you
have-
live in Collin or Tarrant or Denton, just Google that county's elections department and you should get their web address. You can also go to the Secretary of State's website. It used to work beautifully. Lately, it's a little more difficult to deal with, but you can go there too and look up anywhere in the state.
Now, in Dallas County, they do not have the list of election day voting centers up yet because they're still nailing that down. The early voting locations, that you can find, because again, that starts a week from Tuesday. But yeah, they're still nailing down election day. But I know in Dallas County, basically all of the precinct level voting locations that we've traditionally had is they're still using them. They will eventually call that down, but for the moment, if you've lived in Dallas County for a while and you've been accustomed to voting in your precinct at this school or this church or whatever, it's probably going to be a voting center.
Everybody excited?
Yes.
Excellent.
Thank you, Susan.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, Susan. Thank you so much. Yeah. All right. Well, so this is all online. Oh, after this recording will be online, so you can listen back to it to find any other details. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, DFW for Yang, and I'll post a link in the video description of this video. So if you guys go on YouTube, find this recording, open up the video description. I'll put links to all of these paper handouts. I'll just touch on the Andrew Yang process. So I'll also include a link in the video description to fill out the online form for applying to be a Yang delegate. The deadlines it has here are, well, I wonder if this is, because I wonder is this date correct? It says May 25th, delegate statement of candidacy filing deadline.
It may be.
Yeah, that sounds.
They haven't even given them that information yet.
Oh, okay,
But
because
that-
it comes
but-
after the convention, the state convention, because it says May 25.
No,
May
it's
20
before.
The state convention is June.
Oh shoot, I think I have the wrong date on the video. Okay, I gotta correct that. Okay, it's in June.
June 4th, 5th, and 6th.
In order to be
Oh, Senate district. Okay, oh wait, so maybe I'm not wrong. The senatorial is in March, and the state is in June. Okay.
I mean, in order to be elected as a national delegate at the state convention, you have to have already applied and all of it. Yeah, you can't just show up in San Antonio and go, I want to be a national delegate.
Okay, gotcha. So the dates for the Yang people, in addition to the dates that they've mentioned for the senatorial convention, is you have to vote on March 3rd. You have to vote in our primary, and the deadline, the delegate statement of candidacy filing deadline is May 25th. So you have some time, but obviously, like a lot of things, time disappears very quickly. So I have the little form for submitting to be a Yang delegate, and when you go online and find this YouTube video, in the description. What? I don't have the Facebook. I mean, it's like it's a Google form, so it's like it does not have a very like user-friendly URL. But I'll post it on the Facebook page too. I'll post it on social media to make it easier. Yeah. All right. Well.
There's one thing I forgot to mention.
Oh, sure.
Yes. I forgot to mention there's a rule change since the last convention, and this may interest you or not, but 17-year-olds who will be old enough to vote by November can participate in the Senate District conventions and the state convention. They are more than welcome. They just can't vote in the primary if they're not already 18. Okay?
Great.
I thought they could if they were 17. They could vote, and they were going to be 18 by the time of the election. They could.
Republicans won't sign off on that.
We tried.
Yeah.
But they,
My son is. He's 17. He'll be 18.
well, we have a 17-year-old that will be 18 in April, so we know, and we feel your pain.
Yeah.
We also have an 18-year-old who just turned 18 in January, so she's going to get to vote.
Great. All right. Well, we'll wrap up again. Please take some door hangers home. Make sure you phone bank this weekend. New Hampshire is Tuesday, right? Or is it Monday? Tuesday. So you have a few hours left to phone bank for Yang. You can get the phone dialer at yang2020.com/call. If you want to text bank, it's yang2020.com/text. And I think we'll. Yeah, we want photos. So with that, let's take a group photo right here. I'll end the stream, and yeah, give an applause to our Bradley. All right, thank you guys so much. All right, let's get around here for our group picture. Yeah, let's do it. Let's cat a corner here.